Hi there, thanks for joining me and welcome back to the channel. So today we've got an interesting one from Matchbox. It's one of their later issues in the purple range of armour. It's a review we're going to do on the M-7 Preist self-propelled gun. It's a 105mm howitzer, and this is one of the Matchbox later editions actually. So I was trying to find a date on this and there isn't one, but I can tell you for sure that it's about 1988-ish. Because you can tell by the Chinese writing there's lots of things that give it away, but it's the very late edition before Revell actually bought the rights to the Matchbox kit, so I say it's about 1988 thereabouts. Change of style, as you can tell when you look at this closely. You've got now a combination, so that they're now showing the finished, contrary to their earlier style, they're now showing the finished paint job and the unpainted kit on the same panel on the back, which you can see is a departure from their normal style. So here we've got option of the US 5th Army supporting the British at Mount Camino in Italy, December the 6th, 43, or equally it's the Royal Canadian Regiment at Canadian Regiment, is that right? Royal HRHA. Monte Cassino Plain, which is all Italian stuff, grim. Anyway, there we go. Bit of art, strange bit of artwork on the top, and they started doing this rather second-rate artwork, which is definitely not Roy Huxley. I'm pretty sure of that, and I don't think it was him that did the front either, because it's not signed by him. So there we go. And again on the side, it's rather strange double shot for no apparent reason, where they have two versions of the unpainted kit depicted, with and without the diorama. Don't know what they were doing there. This is when they were sort of going close to going out of business, Matchbox. But anyway, let's have a look what's inside. Now, it's not in the greatest condition, so I've got a couple, but I think the other one was sealed, so this was the only one that was really available to look at. Let's have a look. Because the Preist was quite an important and impressive weapon in the Allied arsenal in World War II. It's not a kit I've built either, so that's the point I should make. Let's see what we got. Well, typical, you know, for this late issue, just a white instruction leaflet. Hopefully there'll be some decals. Yes, there are. And here we go. Yeah, Monte Cassino Plain, Right, let's bring you in to have a look at these. They look a little bit more recent than we used to, by at least 10 or 15 years. So, yeah, see if we can just peel that back. Yeah, they're okay. Just do it gently. Yeah, that's fine. No problem there. They'll be okay. So let's have a look at these instructions. Manufactured by the American Locomotive Company. The M7 was based on the earlier M3, featuring a 105 howitzer and a 5-inch Browning. Oh, 50 cal, sorry, Browning, half-inch Browning. The open-topped self-propelled gun nicknamed the Preist because of its high pulpit. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like the pulpit in a church. Yeah. Okay. First saw action in Egypt with the British in September 42. Gosh, that's early. I mean, it's based on a Sherman chassis, of course. Several of these were delivered to take part in the Second Battle of El Alamein, but it was widely used by the Allies throughout the rest of the war in every theatre. Okay, now we've got this instruction leaflet. It's a slightly different format again. So another change they've made. They've now got different views: top, front, bottom, and sides. Top, side, and front and rear, I should say. Small parts call-outs here where the gun, and I think that's the wheel to control the gun, breech, the artillery spotter, and then the shells. We've got shells in here. That looks quite cool. So let's have a look. So this is it's a totally different format now than what we're used to. So Matchbox have taken a radical change here. It's very small though. I don't care for it, if I'm honest. It's all tiny. So you start off by building your gun here, and then you build up the hull and chassis in the second stage, putting on your drive sprockets and your idler rollers. Then you build the rest of it in. All the wheels are brought in with the bogies like a Sherman, and then the top goes, or the floor I should say, goes in, on which the men stand. Machine gun, and then the back engine cover plate. Then we have the surrounding areas with all the shell containers, the shell racks going in. Gun gets placed in here, and you've also got, it looks like a barrel clamp for the actual, a barrel clamp here we're talking about for the actual gun. And then you bring in the front armour here, and you've got all your stowage boxes and the back, sort of back door, back plate, as so it were. And it makes you realise it's quite a big vehicle. This actually, it's not small. Then you've got your mudguards going on and your men going in there, and it doesn't actually it doesn't actually show it, but they've put all the shells in, which it doesn't show. It doesn't seem to mention it in the instructions at all, which I thought was kind of weird. So these are the shell racks here, but then the shells suddenly appear without any mention of them. Anyway, finally you're just putting on the side boxes, and the covers. There's armour to protect the shells so they don't get hit from the side. And that's it. Actually, they do look very vulnerable, those shells, even with the armour, because it doesn't go all the way up. So you've got bare shells exposed. You wouldn't want to get a side shot from a Tiger tank in there, would you? Anyway, there we go. Looks quite good instructions, actually. It's just a bit small and fiddly looking. But, let's have a look at what we've got. So, here's the first sprue, which is in green. You've got the basic profile, side profile here. Got the front here and the rear. Here's the floor, and this is the, sorry, that's not the rear, that's my mistake, sorry, that's that engine sort of platform cover at the back. That's the rear here, that's the rear. And then you've got all these shells. They're very tiny, aren't they? Look at this, lots and lots of shells, look, to go and put in. It's going to be fun. And you've got the gun mounting here. And the front, a very Sherman fashion here. So there's a lot of things in common. The chassis is basically a Sherman chassis. So yeah, I like it. It looks quite cool. There's the gun itself here. And it's very short, 5mm short length howitzer. And then the other sprue. And we've obviously got the actual. This is when they start to get a bit going downhill a bit. Matchbox, I think, that, you know, this latter era when they were making them in China. Look how tiny this is compared to some of those really nice, quite big diorama pieces that you've seen before for it to stand on as a mount. This is like as narrow as they could possibly make it, so that's a bit disappointing. Here we've got the ammunition racks. I'm not sure how those shells are supposed to go in there, to be quite frank. That's interesting. Unless you're supposed to drill them out, because they look like they're filled in, don't they? That's kind of weird. Not too sure about that. And you've got your American GI, which looks a lot like the characters from the German kit, actually, in the same pose, but obviously with the American helmet on. Another GI here. And then this is one of the guys here who's loading the gun, I presume. Whoops! This guy's a gun loader. Then you've got all your bogies for your wheels there. And then the wheels themselves, which there are many. And then you've got the floor, them stand on here. And these are the sort of stowage boxes at the back of the vehicle for ammunition and tools and things. 50 cal machine gun here. And then there's various sort of crates and vents and things that go on the cupola there, like the top of the pulpit, so to speak, for mounting the machine gun on. It's a machine gun ring that spins round, so you can quickly traverse it if you need to. And they will need to, won't they, if they get those Germans sneaking up the side where those shells are exposed. I noticed that there's a bit of a warp in this sprue, actually, if you look at it, quite warped. Don't think it'll affect the parts too badly, to be fair. That's kind of it really. So yeah, it's quite nice. I just yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I'm slightly disappointed with that diorama. It's like, could they have made it any narrower? Wow, I mean, it's just about going to fit on it, isn't it? So, a bit miserly of them, that. I'm a bit disappointed with that, to be honest. So, maybe 6.5, 7 out of 10, especially with that struck me, and also the fact that you've got these shells, but there's no apparent place to stow them. They're supposed to go in these shell racks. I don't see how that's going to happen unless you drill them out, which is a bit of a pain. It's not like Matchbox, that. So this is their latest stuff that was kind of the Chinese getting involved, and then Revell bought them. So perhaps not their finest of the armour range, if we're being fair. Anyway, it's still nice, and it's definitely a collectible item. I mean, you look at the back and it looks, yeah, it's amazing the impression it gives, because that's sort of, I don't know about you, but that gives the impression it's a lot wider than that is. Look how narrow it is, it's crazy. Perhaps plastic was getting expensive then, I don't know. Anyway, there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. It's going to fall over, I know it is. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy it, please give us a like, share and share with other people. Subscribe if you haven't already, and tick the notification bell, because that way you'll get notified of all the new stuff I'm doing coming up soon. There will be more from Matchbox, because there's quite a big back catalogue, so definitely worth having a nosy at it, I think. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining me. Hope to see you again very soon. Look after yourselves. Thanks a lot, and I'll say bye for now. Thanks a lot. Cheers.